Hey team, I know a lot of you out there are asking the question of how to be a better mid-distance runner. First started off in high school. I started off running the 3,200 meter event as a freshman in high school in 1992. I started running the 1,600 meter event as well as the 800 meter event. And it took time. So if you want to be a better mid-distance runner, you have to think more long-term. This is not going to happen overnight. You're going to have frustrations. You're going to have times where you're really questioning yourself. What are you doing getting out the door each day? And do you have what it takes? You have what it takes. But one of the major obstacles most runners have to overcome is being consistent. Okay, you can't just be lukewarm in the sport if you want to be a better middle to long distance runner. And in terms of how to be a better mid distance runner, speed development, working on your leg turnover, working on doing those VO2 max workouts every single week, working on extending the time you're spending at your anaerobic threshold. So running longer tempo runs and getting accustomed to really getting out of your comfort zone on a regular basis is a vital part of being a better middle distance runner. And in terms of being a great middle distance runner, study what the best middle distance runners are doing. That's another big tip for anybody that's trying to get faster over the 800 meter event, the 1,600 meter if you're in high school, the 1,500 meter if you're in college, or if you're training for maybe a 3K indoor race, or the 5,000 outdoors on the track or on the roads. You really have to make sure that you're finding out whether it's studying what the best coaches are doing for their athletes, studying what the best middle distance runners do. Hisham El Garouj, the current world record holder for the 1,500 meter event and the mile. Hisham El Garouj from Morocco ran 3:26 flat for 1,500 meters. He ran 3:43.13 for the mile, the full mile, and had several world records in other events, from the 1 mile indoors to the 2,000 meter event outdoors, before Jakob Ingebrigtsen from Norway broke that. And Ingebrigtsen just recently ran 4:43 for 3,000 meters on the track, beating Hisham El Garouj's 4:44 for 2,000 meters for 5 laps. So again, these athletes, even when I was starting out in the sport back in 1992, I was always studying these athletes. Guys like Nourdine Morselli from Algeria. What were they doing in training? And what I found out from years of studying these guys and the female athletes out there that are running great times is that they're running a higher percentage of their weekly volume at or below their anaerobic threshold. So they are running a higher percentage of their volume at a much higher quality. And they're also really paying attention to mesotherapy, ice baths, their nutrition, mental rehearsal, really preparing well mentally and seeing themselves performing at a very high level. They're combining both the mental as well as the physical preparation that really goes in, that you have to follow in order to be a great middle distance runner. And for me personally, when I was in high school, I wanted to break the 4-minute mile, and I didn't have that type of intensity. I didn't have that type of leg turnover to achieve that, but I was able to improve my 3,200 meter time from 11:30 as a freshman down to 9:46 when I graduated in 1995 as a senior. I was able to lower my 1,600 meter time down from 5:30 all the way down to 4:25, and I was also able to lower my 800 meter time down from 2:12 my freshman year down to 2 flat as a senior in high school. I also ran 4:04 for 1,500 meters in 1995 as a senior as well in high school. Later on, I was able to run 4 flat for 1,500 meters, 4:22 for the full mile, 1,609 meters, and 9:27 for the 2 mile distance, 3,218 meters. So I do have some background with this, and I think the most important thing in terms of how to be a better mid-distance runner is really being locked in on what you want. Okay, whether it's trying to run under a 5-minute mile or trying to run under 17 minutes for the 5K, you have to make sure that you're thinking long term, because this is not a sport where you're going to get great success in a matter of a few weeks or even a few months. It may take you several years to get to a point where you're achieving your middle distance racing goals. And so believing in what you're doing, surrounding yourself with the right environment to get you out of your comfort zone and to get you pushed to the next level is absolutely essential. Watching videos like this, going back through other videos I've made on how to run a faster 2 mile, how to run a mile under 5 minutes or maybe under 7 minutes for the mile. We all have different physical and mental capabilities. So you have to make sure that, one, you're studying what the best middle distance runners are doing. Mimic their work habits. Okay, you may not be quite at their physical or mental level, capacity level currently, but that doesn't mean you can't achieve what you're aiming for in the middle distance events several months from now or several years from now. In most cases, it's going to take several years to get to a point where you're achieving and seeing yourself achieving the types of times you're aiming for. And I think to be a better middle distance runner, you do have to make sure that you're paying attention to your pacing in the race. Okay, if you're training for an 800 meter or a 1500 meter, 1600 meter, or maybe a 3K on the track where it's really heavily focused on anaerobic with a little bit of aerobic capability in that race, you have to make sure that you're paying attention to your leg development, your working hill repetitions, doing, maybe that's examples of that might be repeat 200 or repeat 300 meter hills where you're sprinting all out on the way up and really forcing yourself to focus on your pumping your arms, lifting your knees, really working on your form. That's essential if you want to be a better middle distance runner, and also paying attention to staying relaxed under pressure. Okay. If you look at the best sprinters, if you look at the best middle distance runners, definitely go back and study races of Hicham El Guerrouj of Morocco or Nourdine Morselli of Algeria. Morselli was the former world record holder for the mile. He ran 3:44 for the mile, 3:27 high for the 1500 meter event. This guy was the perfect example of absolute relaxation when he was running. Okay, Jakob Ingebrigtsen from Norway is another example of that. And look at the best female athletes as well out there that are running great 1500 meter times. I mean, now the world record for the 1500 meter for females is 3:49. Okay, that's an excellent time for a male to go out there and break 3:50 for the 1500 meter, but now it's 3:49. Okay, the world record for the 5000 meter event on the track is now 14 minutes flat for females. Okay, years ago, that would have been a world record for a male. Okay, so study what those females out there are doing too, because what they're doing is superior. They're dropping superior times just like the males out there. So I think that's really key. If you want to be a better middle distance runner, a better mid distance runner, it's very important to study what are the world's top middle distance runners doing in training on and off the track. Okay. Making sure that, again, you're focusing on your volume as well. Staying consistent with quality mileage, but also making sure that you're jogging on your easy days so that, again, you can continue to bounce back, continue to run hard, and do really tough workouts over a long period of time, several months, several years. I think if you don't keep the excitement in what you're doing, and if you can't find a purpose for what you're doing in the sport, then you either need to take some time away from it, or maybe find something else that you're good at. Okay, a lot of times athletes quit way too early. Okay, I known athletes over the years that had far better speed, far better physical and mental capability than I had as an athlete that quit way too soon. But again, you have to find that purpose, and not everybody wants to train full time for several years. Okay, it's important to still find other things in your life that are going to keep you busy, but also stay excited about what you're doing in this sport. And if you have that excitement and you don't lose enthusiasm for what you're doing, even throughout all the ebbs and flows of training, you're going to be a successful middle distance runner. So I hope this is helpful in terms of answering the question of how to be a better mid distance runner and what you need to be thinking about. If you have any other questions or concerns, leave me a comment below. I will definitely respond back to you. If you're new to this channel, I appreciate you coming here, and definitely all the athletes out there that have left comments that have let me know how their training is going for the past few years. I definitely appreciate that. It inspires me to hear what you guys and gals out there are doing. And definitely, if you're new, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so when I make a new video, you'll be notified of it. So I wish you all the best, and I look forward to talking with you all in the next video.